Get a load of this. That's right, it's a DVD. Remember those? Yeah, well, since our tech overlords like to dictate what you're allowed to see by censoring and deleting things, I decided to put over 90 minutes of narcissistic horror onto something they can't take away from you. Well, until they break into your house. Join me as your host as I document the rise of social media addiction through a collection of my earliest videos. Finally, the downfall of humanity is properly preserved on DVD. Yeah, see, now future civilizations can discover it and study exactly where we went wrong. Get your copy at joeybtunes.com. Alright, let's start the show.
Joey B. Tunes out here smoking these fools that go to Virtue Signal University School. The Harvard system of narcissism, taking a selfie in front of coffin while Instagramming is your religion. Tune in to the show tonight. A couple Karens get possessed like a poltergeist. Maybe someone will be smart, you might get surprised. But don't hold your breath or you'll choke and die. Joey B versus the world.
Episode 39. Man, it's been a while, huh? Got a lot to catch up on. Actually got some good news this time. We got the DVD out now. Yeah, now you can traumatize yourself without YouTube telling you can't watch my videos because I make fun of things that they don't like me making fun of. You know, I realized something recently. As an idiocracy historian, my research footage needs to be preserved properly. Like, you think my videos are going to be on here 100 years from now? I guarantee you they announce one day that they're going to start removing videos uploaded that are like over 20 years old, or ones that don't fit some new criteria they just make up out of the blue. Just watch. These people don't care about preserving things. They could pull the plug tomorrow. This is why I did this. And it's not just social media. Did you see what Sony's going to do here in a few days? Yeah, they just decided to delete your movies that you bought from them. Yeah, they announced this a while ago. Look at this. As of September 1st, 2026, due to our content licensing agreements, you will no longer be able to watch any of your previously purchased Studio Canal content, and the content will be removed from your library. Then they have the nerve to say thank you. This would be the direct equivalent of you in 1999 finding out that a representative from Sony broke into your house and took back every DVD you bought from them, then leaving a note on your door that says thank you. That's today's consumer experience. Isn't it wonderful? Then they follow up with play has no limits. Yeah, on a letter telling you they are limiting what you can play. Like, no one there thought to change the tagline after this? Like, what is going on in these boardroom meetings? Like, is everybody poisoned or something? There's no time in history before this where there wouldn't be someone who would see this letter at the company and be like, well, we can't put play has no limits on here anymore because we're limiting what they can play. This would ruin the reputation of the company. We'd be seen as liars. Who did this? Someone would be fired for incompetence. Not in 2026. No, they'd be promoted. Now we just say and do anything. It just doesn't matter if it adds up. Nobody cares about consistency, honesty, and millions of people will defend this. And you'll be the ridiculous one if you point out the hypocrisy. Sound familiar? Yeah, it's the same thing during the pandemic. This is what we do now. Oh, and by the way, no more physical media. Yeah, you don't need that anymore.
Sony, the makers of PlayStation, have recently announced that it will no longer be producing physical games after 2028.
Yeah, 2028, they're doing away with that. Yeah. No more sharing games with your friends. No more buying used games. No more watching your kids open their favorite game on Christmas. Remember that? There's a great channel of this guy who makes these videos using his childhood footage from the 80s, just showing how awesome it was to grow up in that era. When we cared about making life magical for kids. Remember that? He basically shows you the joy of actually owning things you bought, bonding with your friends over it, your family. Yeah, well, Sony's decided you don't need that anymore. That's not of any value to them.
It's going to be a huge change because as a consumer, you aren't going to own anything anymore. You're going to be paying for the license to play a game until they choose to remove it.
Yeah, you just turn on your $900 system you bought years from now, maybe to share it with your kid, maybe relive your childhood. And, the thousands of dollars of games you bought, yeah, they'll just disappear because, the company made a deal that's no longer relevant now, or the software's out of date, the updates aren't available. Who knows? It's whatever they want. Yeah, good people.
So, we're not signed in. His account isn't available anymore. Because, I don't know, Sony either deleted it, I don't know, I have no idea. I cannot get into it, he cannot get into it. But the point is, these games are downloaded and they're not available, okay? So, the date, 2010, it showed up for a second, so I'll show it again. 2010, crash worked, okay? We bought this, it's downloaded. Look! We have to connect to the internet or sign into an account, but he does not have his account anymore. I've even tried signing into my account, which these games weren't bought on, and they still don't work. So here's proof.
It's unbelievable, man. Anyway, I could go on forever about this. Look, just get a DVD player from Goodwill for $5 and enjoy my new DVD, okay? This is something nobody could ever take away from you. Oh, and better yet, if you got an old TV, like a CRTV, it's formatted to fit those TVs perfectly, and honestly, it's the best way to watch it. There's a lot of unreleased stuff on there. There's a lot of bonus features, but a lot of it you've seen. It's the early stuff that I did. It's meant to watch in one setting, if you can make it through. I got an opening and closing statement on there. It's very important, okay? You can get them on my website. I only got 500 of these made to start, so I'm just testing the waters. If they go, we'll do more. And I would recommend more creators do this too. Like, think of all the content creators you watch. More creators should be preserving compilations of their work on physical media. I think it's a good idea, considering what's going on. How many times you go on Netflix, the movie's gone, or you go to listen to a song, or it's gone, or it's censored, it's not the way that it used to be. Well, they can't change your DVD. It's just, I don't know. I think there's a rise in a revival, kind of like vinyl, happening right now with DVDs and physical media. I don't know.
Evan Moon shows us how DVD and VHS are making a comeback as people trade algorithms for aisle browsing.
Who's your typical customer that's walking through the door?
The younger generation, 25 and under. I remember asking a Gen Z customer, why VHS? What's the interest? And they just said, it's just a thing that works.
Customers also seem to share a frustration over too many apps and too many fees.
The costs are rising and the selection is dwindling on streaming.
Anyway, let's get into it here. I got some more good news for you guys. You're going to love this. I've expanded my resume recently, and I can honestly say I'm really proud of this one. This is really is a culmination of all the work I've put into over the years, and I just wanted to share with you guys today. I'd like to announce that I'll be adding Blocked by Poopy Pants to my resume. That's right. The Poopy Pants Smith has blocked me on Instagram. We've covered his bowel problems, his passion for dollhouses, his discovery of the weather.
I knew it was cold, bro. Ice is bouncing off of me, dog. Do you see this?
Yeah, it's hailing. The rain froze. Fascinating.
Rain doesn't, bro. It hurts a little bit, bro. What's happening? What's going on? Bro, it's bouncing off, bro. You're not supposed to be able to catch rain in your hand.
Yeah, you're not supposed to catch attention this desperately either. His $300, $400, whatever flip-flops that he thinks isn't insulting to sell to the public.
The idea of wearing flip-flops with pants, you know what I mean? So I just love these flip-flops because you can just go like this and just wear them with pants and just have a look like that.
Wow, I can? What happens if I wear my $5 flip-flops from Walmart with pants? Do they just fly off my feet? What, only yours has the pants compatibility feature?
Because also summer, it's hot out, and I want to like almost like.
What the f*** are you telling us, dude? And his review of my coverage is in. I consider this a 5-star review. Now, since his review, he's deleted all of the videos I've covered from his Instagram. He showed up to some premiere recently in somewhat normal clothes, no poop in his pants, causing his pants to fall down. And you know, I'd like to think I made an impact on his road to recovery. I'm really impressed. Now, this could very well be a false alarm, but we'll find out. My team is actively monitoring this situation, and we'll just have to give it some time before we celebrate.
What's happening right now, bro? This is mind-blowing my mind, bro. My mind's blown. My mind's blowing. My mind's getting blown. It's blowing my mind, bro.
Anyway, speaking of losers, get a load of this guy. Yeah, this guy likes to take my videos and just copy what I say in Spanish and pretend like he didn't just do that. Remember this one? Yeah, I'm going to play it for you side by side with his.
Acompáñame a ver esta vergüenza, por el amor de Dios.
Now, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, you're basically going to hear the Spanish translation of what I just said in my video. Huh. Must be a preview of next year's Super Bowl halftime show.
Pues algo de este estilo no le sorprenda que pueda ser el siguiente show del medio tiempo del Super Bowl.
Let me guess, 3 million followers. Oh, 7.7 million. I was off by almost 4 million. My God, man.
Y lo peor es que déjenme adivino. ¿2 millones de seguidores? Ah, 7.8, me equivoqué nada más por 6. Madre de Dios.
Remember when the stage was reserved for people with talent? Remember that? There was a standard for who we gave the stage to. Every decade produced real performers that blew audiences away.
¿De casualidad se acuerdan de estos tiempos en México? ¿Se acuerdan? Y es que antes había un estándar para llevar a este tipo de gente a cualquier tipo de escenario.
Let me just remind you, 7 million followers.
Esta es la gente que le aplaudimos. Estos son nuestros nuevos ídolos. Solo te recuerdo, 8 millones de seguidores.
Look, here's the thing. I'm actually happy that there's people out there aside from me pointing out how low our standards are now as a society. But look, if you're going to talk about what I'm talking about, just give your own opinions about it. You don't have to parrot what I say. Well, like, I'm not going to see this? Don't you have your own opinions? Look, just do it again and come up with your own shit, okay, Spanky? Please? Thank you. All right. All right, let's get into some fan mail. Let me get some of this together here. While I'm doing that, I got to show you this video of these kids rocking out. No phones, no SSRI tears, just kids living in the moment together, having a great time. Check this out. Yeah, 200 some views. Yeah, meanwhile, a woman moaning in a Snuggie for depressed children. 3 million followers, worldwide tours. What are we doing? Anyway, there's so many talented people out there. And you know, for some reason, we just keep pushing losers on the people. I don't get it. See, this is why I do this segment. It's like, is anybody going to prop up, you know, these up-and-coming young, talented people? You know, I want to start having some of these artists who send me their stuff on here. I don't see anybody really doing that. We got one that's going to call in here in a minute who wrote to the show a few years ago that I read on here when she was an inspiring artist, and now she's got a published book out. And I think that's amazing. I'll tell you, one of my favorite things to see when I read these letters are kids who send me their drawings. I love that. I love that there's still kids out there that aren't glued to their screens and they're just making art and just sitting on the floor drawing and letting their imaginations fly. You know what I mean? I mean, we got one here who drew a portrait of me here, 13 years old. Drew me looking as terrified as ever from all the horrors of the internet I see on a daily basis. Quite fitting. And she writes to me, says, "Hey, Joey, thank you for bringing back common sense. We need more people like you in the world. God bless you and your family, Piper, 2026. And then she even drew a little self-portrait of herself here. See, now that's what good parenting produces. A child with common sense and appreciation for family. I mean, thank you, Piper. I really appreciate it. I got something else here. Hold on a second. So I got this record sent to me, and my apologies to her. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, but here's another person who hasn't TikToked her life away. Producing actual music. I have so much vinyl now. It's like an addiction. It's just one of these things when you have the right system dialed in and you play an album on it, you can't even listen to music on these streaming sites anymore. It's so low quality compared to how vinyl sounds. It's just like, once again, we already perfected the medium to play music on. CDs are great too, but just like everything else we digitize, it just turns into inconsistent, faulty, low-quality, unstable crap. If you're into collecting music, you'd understand what I'm saying. The CD you play in your car doesn't just stop working because you're driving through a wooded area. Like the CD player just stops. It just, everything just worked if you took care of it. Anyway, thank you, Megan. I really appreciate it, and I promise I'm gonna put this on. All right, well, I got Ava on the phone here. Now, you guys might remember her. She sent in a few letters a while back. We did a follow-up on her. She started putting herself out there more, doing the comic conventions and all that. Check this stuff out. This girl, her name's Ava Schrager. I hope I'm saying the name right. She's been sending me a lot of her stuff. Really talented artist. She sent me a few letters. I read her story. She had a lot of setbacks in her life. And, it sounds silly and cliche, but art really can save you. Well, she stuck with it, and she's got a book published now called The Heroic Losers. Ava, what's going on?
Hi, Joey. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for having me. I am just so grateful and blessed to be here and to be on the show. I've been watching this show, oh my God, since forever. I remember when you had like 100K subscribers, which is still a lot, but I've watched this channel just grow, and I've always, wanted to be on it and just meet you and share my work and my career and see if anyone would be interested in my work as well.
Well, I love it because you're here because of your effort, right? I mean, you put yourself out there. I mean, and we're going to get into all that, but the first thing I got to ask you is, have you had any eel lately?
Oh yeah, no, that's a great question. No, I haven't. Ever since
good.
that awful day where we went to have sushi and you said you should try mine. It's eel, and I said no, and you said yes, and I was
Well,
like,
people,
okay,
look, let me
fine.
just, I got to clear it up because people probably have no idea what we're talking about because people don't realize I ran into you at one of the Charlotte conventions and we
Yeah.
all went out to eat and I had ordered a beautiful plate of eel wrapped sushi and I offered you one and after one bite, you started heaving like a cat.
I
I
did.
mean, like the entire restaurant was watching this. All the cooks were watching. The babies were crying. I actually saw the owner pick up the phone. Like, should we call 911? Like, what's going on with her? I mean, you caused a lot of chaos that night.
I did. I was like a cat with a hairball, like just like it was awful. Don't try eel unless you're like brave, which I was brave. I did it. It was awful. Thanks, but like no.
To be all jokes aside, I'm really happy that you stuck with the arts. I remember again reading your letters and you standing out to me because of how determined you sounded to pursue your passion. And I'm telling you, and I know you know this, so many young people out there who are so talented, and they don't even believe that they can make a living in the arts to begin with, regardless of the roadblocks that they might have in front of them. Because I know you had some personal roadblocks yourself, but obviously you didn't let any of that stop you. So I really just wanted to have you on also, and obviously to share with everybody your new book, but also to show people that if you put your mind to something and truly believe in yourself, you can actually make a living doing what you dream to do.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I also think that if you are an artist for a hobby rather than a career, it doesn't make that artist any less of an artist than someone who does it professionally as well. And I think we all need to support each other as artists, especially now.
And that's why I just try to do this. I mean, I watch so much garbage on the internet people send me, and kids who potentially could maybe have a unique ability, but yet they throw it away by doing dances in their bedroom or they want to be a TikTok. And it's like, what a wasted potential that is. And that's really just a flash in the pan. You know what I mean? I mean, like, that's not going to last. You're going to TikTok forever in your bedroom into your 40s. I mean, like, at some point you got to show something. And I feel like what you're doing is going to sustain the test of time. I mean, this is why I want to do this. I want to have more artists on here like you, but I love that we're able to connect this way. Just from you were just a letter that started, and I'm always reading these letters, but it's just cool to follow up to see that you stuck with it and you're doing your thing. So I'm just very happy for you.
Thank you so much. That means so much to me. I mean, I was originally going to be an animator.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting nervous.
Nah, you're good. There's no eel here. I can't poison you.
Yeah.
There's nothing to worry about. You're safe.
No, thank you. But yeah, so I did animation for 2 years and I ended up sucking at it. I wasn't good at all. So I knew I had to pivot. I wanted to be a storyteller, a narrative artist. And I've also been a writer for a long time. And I was like, you know what people really like nowadays? Anime, Deadpool, South Park, D&D, like all of this stuff's like really, really popular. I really want to create a fantasy world that's 18 plus, that is just all of that put together, also with some men's mental health aspect in there too. And this idea that I had 7 years ago is now in my hand, like you said.
And just to be clear to the audience, because you said this is 18 plus now, I went through some of it. It is a little pretty risque. I mean, this is supposed to be more of like an adult fantasy comic. I got to be clear because I got a lot of parents that watch
this
and
is like
stuff like
Deadpool,
that.
South Park level right there. A lot of it is inspired by South Park and Deadpool. So if you wouldn't have your kids watch or read any of that, definitely not, for that. But if Deadpool and South Park is like up your alley, it is on that level. So
it's mostly adults that watch this, but I find when I go to conventions, I'm surprised of how many parents show up with their kids and they watch my stuff because my stuff's also pretty risque. But I do like that there's parents out there that use their discretion, of what they choose to show, because there is a moral message to a lot of the stuff that
I agree.
do,
like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Like, my fiance Lexi and I don't want children, but if I had a child, which never, but hypothetically, there's definitely videos I would show them of yours. It depends on the video, of course, or show your child clips. But it's really important that, this specific videos that we show them is like, hey, don't be like this.
Yes, thank you. Because I love that you're saying that, because I just don't want these kids to end up like these people.
Yeah, like mini Cardi B's everywhere. Like, no, we don't want a million more Megan Thee Stallions.
Yes, so you get it. You're using my content properly. Thank you.
I am. It's my dream to be blocked by Poopy Pants. So if he's watching this, please block me. I don't.
Okay, I probably will frame that. I have framed my rejection letter from YouTube that says that somehow I'm not allowed to get my gold plaque. Could you imagine like a musician selling 1 million records and they're just like, we just don't like what you said and we're just not going to give you the gold record. But for some reason, the tech industry will do that to creators and stuff like that. So I have that framed. So I'll probably frame my Poopy Pants.
No, that's great. Companies are wild. Like, I have a Majora's Mask tattoo right here, and just by probably showing it on YouTube, they're probably going to find me and sue me for loving their product. So...
Well, look, just be happy you're not those people and keep being real.
Yeah, it's the era of me, narcissism and victimhood, and like, you don't know how good you have something until it's gone. Yeah. You really don't, so gratitude is really what motivates me to do everything that I live in the greatest country in the world, and I can do this for a living, and there's nothing I can think to be ungrateful for. Like, I can get married in this country. Like, I love America, and I love this country, and I'm so grateful for all the opportunities it gives me here. And I think we need to be proud to be American again, because I adore just everything. I like, it's speechless. Like,
you're living the dream, and the people that can't see that, it's just like they're spoiled children. Like, they can't
see it.
They
don't
even
want to
see it. But yet there's so many places that they could go where they actually can't live the way that they currently live, or even be allowed to hate the country or publicly. And it's like, don't you know that? It's like, do you really expect like this country to be perfect? Do you expect the world to be? It sounds like you're expecting things to be perfect. There's not even a perfect person. There's only things that are perfect for you.
Yeah.
America's made mistakes. America currently makes mistakes, but we also do the right things too. It's always, it's good and evil. It's good and bad. That's what this whole life experience is. So I just think people have weird expectations of what they think reality is.
I completely agree. It's because a lot of people don't live in, reality. We got Poopy Pants. I'm like looking at that. I'm like, there's no way we don't live in a simulation. Like, really?
Yeah, like, how is that guy real? I really think he's like a hologram. To confuse us or something. I don't know. Or an alien. I don't know.
It reminds me of something you said a really long time ago on one of your shows. You said it a while ago, and what was it? It was you're so good with words. I believe you said something like, we live in a world where you gotta find your people and shut the doors a little bit. You know what I mean? You can leave them on crack, to just be careful, so find like-minded people, and stick to them, because there are like the really stupid ones are just really loud. So trust me.
The good thing about them being loud is that they identify themselves right away.
No, for sure. Yeah, they can avoid it.
It's the easiest time ever to find your people because of the contrast of the two.
100%.
No good people, just hold on to them. They deserve your attention and praise and all that. We got to lift each other up.
I 100% agree. And like, I've even been at a convention one time, and one girl was like angry at me for just like my looks, I guess. Like, super seething. Like, she was a swamp hag, like, literally. So you could.
But isn't that what swamp hags do?
Yeah, literally. they could, how about you better yourself and, have more positivity in your life? And instead of bringing someone down to your level, why don't you just improve yourself? Get out of that swamp hag mentality.
Well, the
and
misery
become-
loves company. It's a cliche for a reason. They got to bring people down and make themselves feel better about themselves. But really, it's funny because it's kind of like reverse admiration. It's like they do that to people that they're jealous of, and they really actually want to be like them. You know what I mean? It's kind of a sickness.
Yes,
It really is.
I did nothing but treat her with kindness. That's all I do is I treat people how I want to be treated. And if I'm not getting that back, I still treat with kindness. Like I'm not going to sink down to your level because.
Yeah, I'll do that for you. I do that for everybody. I go down to their level and I just eat. I rip their face off. I like doing that. And then I go back to being a normal person.
People are crazy and unpredictable. So I'm careful about when I do it. But I remember, oh my God, I've watched all your stuff. You were talking about this one time you went to like Universal and like that you did that one tour and someone.
You really were watching early on because I remember telling that story very early on when I started doing this. Yeah, I was at Universal Studios and I was on the West Coast and I grew up in New York. And I lived there most of my life, and it was the first time I left New York and lived anywhere outside of the Northeast. And I didn't realize how docile people are outside of where I'm from, where it's nobody really gets away with being rude to people. Like everyone just calls each other out. So like if you skip somebody in line, like they're gonna like say something. Whereas like on the West Coast, like people just let that happen. And I'm like, they're only doing this because nobody does anything about it. So I remember being on that tram on that tour, and these people behind me are just talking on the phone, full volume. Like people paid to go on this tour, and it just wouldn't stop for like 10, 15 minutes. And I'm looking around like, how is nobody telling these people to shut the F up? And I'm like, I got to be the person to do it. And then once I did it, I go, do you guys not know where you are? You think you're in your living room right now? People paid to do this.
No common decency.
Then all of a sudden, like they couldn't believe I said that, but then they did stop and they jumped off of the tram and maybe like 2 people clapped. I was like, no, there needs to be more people clapping because I know you all. I stood up for everybody and I still didn't get any admiration. Not that I needed it, but it's like, come on. I'm like, nobody was going to do anything here. Anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like it made me remember what you said because I forgot about that.
Yeah, no, that literally all those years ago that happened. That was years ago. And that story has stuck with me because ever since then, if I feel like, okay, I'm not going to get, like punch it in the face. You have to be careful. I do that now because someone's got to do it. We got to bring common decency back. We got to bring no, you can't do that.
Good, and you got to stand up for yourself. But you're right. You got to be careful. You got to pick and choose. When to do it and really gauge your surroundings. Like, is this person going to stab me in my neck or, what I mean? You got to really be careful. But, in some situations where, there's a lot of people around, and it's like, sometimes these people need to be embarrassed in front of people. Somebody has to do it because they just do this because no one their whole life ever calls them out for it. And the look on their face when you stand up there, it's like they can't be like, wow, how dare you?
Yeah, because no one will tell them, it's like if I have lipstick in my teeth, I want Lexi to tell me, oh, hey, babe, you got lipstick in your teeth, like it's embarrassing, you're not kind to people by lying to people. If one of my friends looks really bad in an outfit, I'm gonna be like, you should probably change, your shorts are kind of rising up. Put different ones on.
You're a good friend. You're a good friend. So where could everybody find the book and find you and follow you? And also, with that being said, I need you to answer 2 questions here that I think would help some, aspiring artists. So if you got one piece of advice you could give to someone who's talented but thinks making a living doing art is out of their reach, and to the person who is motivated and wants to get their stuff out there, what should they do?
So first thing I would do is I would research the industry. Make sure that this is something you want to do. If you really want to do this as a career, get a portfolio, because if you think you're going to get a job by submitting job applications, you're not going to get the job. That's not how you get jobs in today's world anymore. Is not through job applications, it's through meeting people. So you need to actually go to these conventions and find a job. Get business cards, go to companies, look for applications. Sometimes at Comic-Cons, they actually have portfolio reviews. So to get a job, you actually have to go, not really get a booth at a table, because I don't think that's financially stable for a lot of artists anymore, but just simply bring your portfolio to a comic convention. This is how I got my start at 19, and it works just as well. Sorry if you can hear the thunder. Show your portfolio to everyone, and don't say, do you have any advice? No. You need to say, hey, here's my work. This is what I can do. I'm open for hire. I would love to work for you. Be confident. If you're not confident, they won't hire you. So if you really, really want this job and you believe you can do it and you want to do it, make it a goal and keep doing it until you get the job. And that's how I did it. And I got my first gig when I was 19.
That's amazing. You know what's funny about what you said, and I know you're a lot younger than I am, and you grew up in a completely different generation than I did. But what's so cool about it is that what you just said is the method that everybody used to it is the approach that everybody before us used to have when they went out and got something. And you're basically proving that that still applies. So when people say like, oh, it's like, well, you got to fill out the email, fill out the form. Like, screw all that. Show up to the damn place and tell them, like you said, I am an artist. Don't look, you are this. You are that. And this is what I have to offer. And I really think that school and I don't know, people's peers do a real disservice to people to not push them to do these things that are now seen as unconventional methods of getting in the door. That's how you do it. If you want to skip the line and get ahead of everybody, show up to the damn place, whether they say to show up or not. And they might slam the door in front of you, but don't let it deter you, right? I mean, you're basically taking the old school methods that I believe in to get ahead and to make something of yourself. And number two is also saying that you're an artist, not that you want to be. You are. Just because you don't make a living at it yet doesn't mean you're not an artist. You already are an artist.
Yes, that's your part of the portfolio. Is you're not just selling your work, you're selling yourself. It's the old school way. It's always been the old school way, and it will continue to be that way, So even for regular job applications, like those don't even work. That doesn't work for the gaming industry, doesn't work for the comic industry, animation, anything entertainment.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's like you get all these applications, he throws them all out. But meanwhile, if he knocked into somebody at a bar or a convention that was a really friendly person or someone that he really connected with, he might give you a chance because you were just there where he was and he liked you.
100%.
So it's like just make friends and do it the old school way. Don't be so rigid. Look, this was awesome, and I'm sure we'll cross paths again. And I promise not to poison you with my awful palate of taste. But what do you got coming up next? And where can everybody find the book and find you?
So the book is available for physical copies and all the merchandise. We have standees, double-sided blankets, Meth Crusader hoodies, Professional Idiot hoodies, tons of other stuff, prints and all. All of those are available on Indiegogo. We successfully raised almost $11,000 day one, which is amazing. So you can either donate to the campaign or buy a physical copy and or merch on our Indiegogo site. You can also read it if you want digitally. That's available on Global Comics. And then all my socials is on that link tree that Joey's going to put in the description. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This is book 1 out of 5. I'm gonna skip that part. I forgot that parents watch this. It's good.
On that note, Ava, it was really a pleasure talking to you. I wish you all the luck in the world, and I'm sure that we'll cross paths again. You're the best, and everybody go check out her work.
Yes, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you totally don't hate Heroic Losers. That would suck for my career. Thank you for having me, Joey.
Awesome.
It was such a pleasure.
This was fun. I'll see you again soon, okay?
Awesome. Sounds great. Bye, guys.
All right, guys. It's been fun. Go get that DVD. I can't wait to hear what you think about it. Share it with your friends. Get some good laughs out of it, because one day it'll be the only way you can see this stuff. I'm pretty confident of that. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.